Can I ask you, when it comes, you're talking about quiet time, like between working and then going to bed at what sounds like probably 9.
Yeah.
Um, when do you when do you have time to, like, when's your quiet time? Because with 13 and 14, or 13 and what's the
13 and
your oldest?
14. Mhm.
13 and 14. I mean, I imagine they're still, like, you're going to bed about the same time as them.
Yep.
With 2 kids in the house, I imagine quiet time isn't exactly the word that you would use for it. So when do you actually get your downtime?
Yeah. So I get my, well, now I get it because they're back in school. So I kind of have it most of the day, which I'm very excited about because I missed that during the pandemic. But when they were here, I feel somewhat fortunate that my kids are, they're 13 and 14, but I have the type of children who are kind of quiet by nature. So, like my daughter, she is the type of person, she asked for a label maker for Christmas last year. Like she's a very like type A organized, I'll organize your back to school supply. She's one of those types of kids. And she likes her quiet time just as much as I do. My son is a little bit more energetic and rambunctious, but he understands because I've been this way for most of their lives. I have been working for myself for 11 years. So this is all they kind of know of me is like, well, mommy takes her nap at 1. And like they just kind of know that this is part of my habit and my routine. So they've just kind of been taught that, okay, well, she's going to take a nap now, so we don't go in her room, or mommy's reading her book out in the sunroom, so we'll just stay in here and watch PBS or whatever they did, when they were younger. And then also that bedtime alarm, like you said, it goes off at 8:15. I don't go to sleep until 9. So that whole period is like me taking my shower and doing a steaming. I bought this facial steamer, so steaming my face and watching a couple episodes of 30 Rock. That's kind of like my winding down time for the day. And yeah, some days, and my husband doesn't have all this elaborate stuff because he can just go to sleep and be asleep in 3 minutes and get 4 hours sleep and function fine. So he'll be up with the kids, but I will be asleep. And so that's how I manage my quiet time, um, every day. Every day. It's a must. Kind of similar to you, Adam. My grandmother watched us when we were growing up and she made us take a nap every day. So I was like 13, 14 years old, taking a nap at noon, like, I'm not really tired. And she would like lay in the bed with us so that she could feel us if we got up to move. So yes, I'm very well, again, that's one of those things that I remember from my childhood and my kids will remember from their childhood. It's like, yeah, we had to lay down and my mom laid down and she got up and she was, well rested and ready to tackle the second half of the day. So um, that's how I do it. Yeah. And I think, Mariah, were you about to chime in with your self-care or things that you do for yourself?
So two things. My son was diagnosed with ADHD during the pandemic. His particular ADHD has to do with impulse control and explosive anger episodes, which was extremely hard to deal with, during lockdown when we couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't see anybody, we couldn't, take that break for ourselves and say like, okay, I need you to just like go to your grandmother's or your aunt or uncle. Like you need to just, mom and dad need a break too. Like there was no break. So getting his diagnosis and having our pediatrician say, you need to start getting him to bed earlier. Most ADHD kids struggle with bedtime. Start him on that routine, get it going now. And now we have them in bed and he's usually asleep by 8:30, and it used to be 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And we will go to bed with our kids and like lay down with them, wait until they're asleep, and then retreat to our own room. So by the time my husband and I would get to our own beds, it was 11:30, or we would just fall asleep with our kids and wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and wander over to our own room. Getting my son, who is the later one, to fall asleep, to be asleep by 8:30 was a complete game changer. I called my sister about a week after it happened and was like, that's it. Like, that is like, my husband and I had been fighting constantly. We couldn't even agree on like what the best way to go about treating our kid for ADHD was, because we were so tired. We didn't have time to talk. We didn't have time to process. We didn't have time to, research and reflect on some of the things that our therapist was telling us. So getting, our kids into a good early sleep routine, and having that time to adult really was a game changer for us, and it's helped us get on a better sleep schedule. So I hear you on the rest. And along with that, and like your kids understanding your routine and what you do, like my husband is like a computer. He will just shut down at the end of the day. Like, you can see it 10 o'clock, 10:30. He's just, it doesn't matter if he's watching 30 Rock and he's in the middle of an episode. Like, when the time comes, he shuts down and that's it. He's done. And he can get 4 hours of sleep and be fine. I am an extreme introvert, and I've told him many times the toughest part of lockdown is that we have 5 humans and 2 pets in our house. There is no alone time. So I am exhausted no matter what, just because there's always someone or something around me. Even if it's quiet, I'm not alone and I'm not quiet and I'm not getting that rest. So I do the same thing. I will take a nap or I will do something, and I will tell the kids like, okay, I need to do this. My daughter at one point, she's very codependent. She just started kindergarten. She's the younger of the two. So she wanted that parent engagement time. And she would occasionally just be like, I want to go watch a movie in your room, but you can sleep if you want to. So again, like getting the kids used to seeing this. And I would say, reinforce this by saying, it's important to rest. It's important to go ahead and take your time. It's okay to nap. I napped, in high school. I had a nephew who was, 2 or 3 years old. I would come home from school and he and I would take a little nap together. It was fine. As a working adult and in college and things, I would get done with my classes for the day and take a nap. And, this is something that I hope that they are seeing as part of a healthy routine, and a self-care routine.
Yeah. Yeah. The importance of rest. I feel like that's the rest and grace and patience and kindness to ourselves and to our kids. I feel like that's the gist of our conversation today. So I really enjoyed this, hearing from you all. Thank you, Jessica and Cam, for helping, set this up, and Liz and everybody who joined us. I know I had to go early, but this was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. We really enjoyed this, and we're so grateful that you were here to help us through. I hope that we all take a little bit of what we learned from each other and from you, and from the who were not on the panel, and we can just use that. If there's anything that comes up, you guys have questions, feel free to shoot us a message on Kunik, and we're happy to be in touch. And if you'd like to get Tara's information, we're also happy to get that to you as well. Thank you, guys.
Right.
I hope everyone has a great rest of the day.